Hello everyone and welcome to a modern video here on Mage. I'm Andreas and today I'm going to be trying out something that looks very sweet on paper. I've built a bug Sultai mid-range deck inspired by a deck I played against recently in a modern challenge. I tried to piece together the cards I liked from my opponent's deck and filled out the remaining holes with whatever I felt like trying out. So basically, the new addition is this card, Euro Titan of Nature's Wrath, a 3-mana 6/6 legend. But when you cast it, it's kind of like an explorer. It gains you 3 life, draws you a card, then it goes to the yard, and from the yard, you can pay its escape cost, which is green, green, blue, blue, exile 5 other cards from your graveyard, and then you can cast it. So I'm thinking of this card as a very sweet value / life gain creature that will end games against aggressive strategies and grindier matchups. It's not going to be super relevant against combo, but in the fair matchups, I feel like this card can do a ton of work. So once we put green in our deck, Tarmogoyf is a good one. It's a good beater on the defense, good beater on offense. It's basically everything you need in a shell like this. Since I'm playing a heavy basic lane mana base, this deck can support Icefang Codal, which is pretty awesome. It does a very good Baleful Strix impersonation, and yeah, I've just been very impressed with this card as a speed bump, as a card to press your opposing planeswalkers, etc. To round out the threats, we have a couple of Snapcasters for value and a couple of Jace the Mind Sculptors to hopefully take over the game if we manage to keep the board somewhat clear. As I said, the mana base is very basic land heavy. We have a forest, we have a swamp with 5 islands, then we have a single sanctuary for a late game cryptic command value. It's kind of free to put this in your mana base these days, but of course you can draw it early and it's clunky, but it should be worth it most of the time. Then I have 2 Watery Graves because I need black early. Then I have one of the others, and 4 Astral Apes, which really helps the mana base not hurt me in the process, while I can still cast all of my cards. This card is pretty strong, and the cost of putting it in your deck is not very high. Yeah, it's you definitely have to try it out to really see its potential. Then I have 4 copies of Thought Scour. The dream is milling over Euro, but other than that, Thought Scour just functions as a kind of cantrip to hit my land drops and fueling Tarmogoyf in a pinch. Time will tell if 4 Astral Apes and 4 Thought Scour is too much air in a deck like this. But yeah, we have to test that out. Then I have I call it the counter package of 2 cryptic commands, 2 Archmage's Charm, and 2 Force Negations. So yeah, cryptic command needs little to no introduction. We have 4 very relevant modes as a way to get card advantage and pull ahead. And with Snapcaster and Mystic Sanctuary, this deck has a very strong late game. For the next card, it's a modern Horizons card, Archmage's Charm. So 3 mana card to counter target spell, not very impressive. 3 mana draw 2 cards, not very impressive. 3 mana gain control of target non-land permanent with converted mana cost 1 or less, not very amazing. But all these 3 modes are on the same card, so whether you need to counter a fatal card like Primeval Titan, if your opponent passes the turn, does nothing, you can draw 2. You can even gain control of some sweet non-land permanents like Death Shadow if you're low on life, or Amulet of Vigor to have this card function as a disenchant. The flexibility is why you put this card in your deck. It also helps with a little bit of card advantage because I'm playing Force Negation, which, you know, it is a 2-for-1 on yourself in desperate times. It is very hard castable though, so Force Negation is kind of a necessary evil these days, with the Neoform and stuff like that running rampant. Then I have 4 Fatal Push because we need to kill stuff early, especially any deck with Noble Hierarch or the Mono Red Prowess decks. Then I have a couple of discard spells just to make sure we have enough disruption to actually beat opposing unfair strategies. I went for a single Thoughtseize and a single Inquisition, since drawing 2 Thoughtseize can be kind of tough on your life total. It is very possible that 2 Thoughtseizes is just a way to go, because you want the flexibility of getting whatever out of your opponent's hand, especially because Jace the Mind Sculptor and Cryptic Command, stuff like that, is also very, very strong against you, but I'm going to have to test that out. Then a couple Assassin's Trophy. Yeah, I like this over Abrupt Decay because it can kill Primeval Titan and Tron lands. Both are enemies of this deck, so it kind of sucks giving my opponent an extra land, but the flexibility is worth it. And to round out the deck, I have a couple of Drown in the Loch, which hopefully is a split card between Counterspell and Terminate in a lot of matchups. It's pretty obvious that if that's the case, this card should be a 4 of, but occasionally I'll play against decks where they don't really build their own graveyard, and that's where this card is very mediocre. So let's keep an eye out for whether this card is good or not. The sideboard, I have a bunch of counters for Primeval Titan, for blue matchups, especially Neoform. Force Negation is just so brutal against them. Then I have this card, Dead of Winter, which I'm very excited about. Another Modern Horizons card, by the way. So this should basically be a one-sided sweeper out of this deck, because my creatures are either snow creatures or big dudes like Tarmogoyf and Euro. So I'm hoping that this is a Plague Wind for 3 mana out of this deck. Let's see if I'm right or wrong about that one. Then I have a couple of Veil of Summer against black-based discard or matchups with counter magic. And then I have a pretty big package against big mana decks like Titan, like Tron, like Storm. Even all of these cards are relevant against Storm. This deck has a pretty bad big mana matchup, so having Damping Sphere against Tron lands and Bounce lands, and having Ashok against Primeval Titan, Gifts Ungiven, and even function as Graveyard Hit against something like Dredge. I think those are very strong. But as I said, this is just a first draft from the top of my head. I haven't had any games with the deck yet, but that's why we're here today. I think that'll do it for the deck tech, and I will see you guys for the matches.